Alright, give it a second. Alright, so this is a tournament game between Team WeDemBoyz, which consists of Mr. Jonjo and Sabusa, and Team Warsaw Pact, which consists of Pizzette and Eaglemutt. And they greened into Japan, France for WeDemBoyz and Port India for Warsaw Pact. And I would just give the advantage to Japan, France. Like, I think WeDemBoyz did a much better job with their civ picks. Because in natives, France should win against ports. Like, it's not the worst matchup in the world. It's kind of close, but I think that France should win it fairly decently in natives, at least. And Japan should roll over India out of natives, because the way you stop Japan is with artillery. It's like the only way, and India can't really make it to artillery aside from the consulate, which is not enough. And then Japan's units are just better than India's units, so Japan should just win that. Alright, so it's interesting that Eaglemutt made another front base here, maybe planning on doing some running. Oh, but they have like 0 walls here. Well, aside from the 2 eco walls. I mean, it's fine because one, they have an FB here, and they have 2 eco walls, so it's not like the Japan player could just run units into their base. And there are a bunch of trees here and buildings here. That might block the pathing of their own units if they're forced to defend in this location, though. Like, there's only one place for Eaglemutt's or Pizzette's units to go through to get to, like, here. And that's, like, here. And then it's still a really tight squeeze. And the massive front base here, I agree with the massive front base against Japan, because Japan pushes really hard with their extra range mortars. And standard front bases for the France and Port players. Pizzette's walls are quite nice, actually. It's just that some of them have gaps, like you can see the gaps here. But I mean, it's still pretty nice for someone who rarely plays treaty. And India got the 2 llamas, which is good for him. Front TC, which is good for ports to spam explorers, which is like part of their gameplay. And so we look at military units. It's not easier than counting. So it's really good for looking at the start enemy. So I think Sabusa is not going to make any flaming arrows. He's just going to make a full Ashi Nagi Yumi army. He didn't delete these 3 samurais. I usually delete them because I don't upgrade samurais. I guess it's just preference. I mean, they're kind of a waste of pot, but I mean, at the same time, they're free units. It's weird how he has 6 stat howders. Wonder if he wanted to send a bank but misclicked. So yeah. Japan and India both have very strong start armies, but I would probably give the advantage to Japan. Just because their units are better. Sabusa made a lot of Ashis. Yeah, I need to work on that. Work on not moving the camera so much, I mean. good for when you're playing games, but bad for casting. It's a bug with the UI. Obviously, ports did not send Moo Call Agriculture. Oh, okay, so Pestilot made a 6 heavy cannon start army. I guess he wants to like cheese his opponent out with a really artillery heavy start army. But the issue is he only has 4 corps, so if his opponent makes a standard amount of corps, he's gonna destroy the corps fight, and then those heavy cannons are gonna have to go back, and they're gonna do nothing. So hopefully Pestilot has more corps queued in another foundry. He does not. Jonjo probably had to delete a courier because it got stuck in ML. That's what that is. And 14 shrines, so that means he got 14 shrines on hunts, which is pretty good. Or pretty standard, actually. This is what you do later, is you delete the shrines that are on hunt so that you can put sheep on them, and sheep gather faster. So yeah, heavy cannon cheese can work, but not with only 4 corps to defend them. Yeah, Pestilot's boom. It's below average, but he's still gonna hit 2100. Like, below 2100 is when you get to dog shit level port booms. But he's still gonna hit 2100, so it's not terrible. Eagle Mutt, 2300. Again, like, 2300 India is below average, but not terrible, I think. Sabusa's gonna get fairly standard score. And so is Mr. Jonjo. Mr. Jonjo may be a bit below average. Depends on... oh. Okay, so Mr. Jonjo is going for a cur cheese against a heavy cannon cheese. And whether or not he wins, it kind of depends on whether or not Pestilot puts his muskets in melee mode. If Pestilot puts his muskets in melee mode to like stop the gendarmes, he's probably gonna win that fight. If he doesn't, he may lose. And again, these corps are just gonna roll over Pestilot's corps, unfortunately, and the heavy cannons will be forced back, if not completely destroyed. So Eagle Mutt start army. I don't like 6 Howdahs. Like, it's fine to want to make some anti-cav in your if you want to make anti-cav in your start army, it should usually be Sepoys, especially versus Japan. And 2 siege elephants. Like, if he saw that Sabusa didn't make any flaming arrows, that number should be 0. So let's look at the Nats first. Okay, it's weird Mr. Jonjo isn't moving up. And he looks like he's going to lose these 3 corps right off the bat, because he didn't move them up with his other corps or with his other army. Like, you should move all the components of your start army up at once, like the curs and the gendarmes, and then Wolfmaker while the gendarmes are wrecking his infantry and stuff. And then you can use gendarmes to flank holes, and it looks like Eagle Mutt is staying way back. Which, I mean, India's start army, like, oh, I think he's staying back because he was late with the consulate army. So he kind of had to stay back to prevent himself from getting annihilated. So now he's boosted to just push in. And now his FB, like, it wasn't built ideally. Like, there's not a lot of spaces in between buildings, so you can see how poorly these falconets have, like, all around here, because he didn't have much space between his buildings. So yeah, as expected, Pestilot lost his heavy cannons, and Again, just moving up the curves while just leaving the skirms and artillery just standing still was not ideal. And Pestilot is pretty slow FBing. Like, you can get away with FBing kind of late out of Nats. Like, Sabusa didn't even put much effort into his FB because the bases are a lot closer together out of Nats, so Sabusa... And yeah, one of the issues with this matchup is like the slow training times in India. Like, Japan's units are not only better, but they train faster. This makes it really difficult for India to keep up. And so, massive amount of howras from Eaglemet. Like, what else can he do? He has no infantry, he's no infrastructure to train Gurkhas or Sepoys. But since Sabusa doesn't really have any Ashis yet, he should mix in a few Mahoots as well. Looks like Pestilot not unable to retake the Cove battle. I don't know why he's towering so far back when the fight is already back here. And Pestilot should be queuing some goals. He should be staying full pop. Both Pestilot and Eaglemet aren't really doing a good job at staying full pop. So it looks like Sabusa was kind of prepared for it with the wall and basing here. Moving up these Ashi. Eaglemet needs to get... Okay, there we go. And now again, Pestilot has like no army. It's kind of hard to reinforce when your Raxes are all the way back here. And looks like Sabusa found the opening in their walls. He's gonna kill a few more chopping ghosts, but Eaglemet's on it. Eaglemet mixing some Gurkhas behind walls, that'll hold for like a couple minutes, but if Eaglemet can't get a better infrastructure, he's going to lose this as soon as these walls are down. He needs enough infrastructure to be constantly training Sepoys and Gurkhas to have any hope of holding it. And, oh, this is a good example of why you always need to chop the trees in the natives, because his units are getting stuck in the trees. Mr. Janjo very quickly walling out. This will be really good if you can like put mortars behind these walls and like kind of take out these FB from the flanks while being protected by walls. And yeah, see, this is gonna be open in like 1 minute, like 2 seconds, and Eaglemet doesn't really have the infrastructure to defend this. And you could say he doesn't have enough room, but he could still build Raxes like here, here, even back here. Mr. Janjo mixing horse artillery. And Pestilot needs Kolf control, like immediately. He's gonna have to go back because he doesn't have Kolf Husks out, and Mr. Janjo mixed horse artillery. And then this FB is still really close together. So he's not gonna get in their base, but he is gonna find these 2 mills and kill like 20 of Pestilot's vills. doesn't show the number for each individual player, it just shows the total. That's unfortunate. So it looks like EagleMet is starting to get the infinite native shipments out. That's going to help him to hold. Still only 3 Raxes, which isn't nearly enough against Japan. And these are just going to get owned by the Ashi. I think Mr. Janja should definitely have mortars out by now. He could have ended this a lot quicker with consistent mortaring. Pessalot's gonna send his goods forward to snipe. The natives are coming in here, and if Pessalot doesn't move back, yeah, these goons are dead. They're gonna get like destroyed. The natives, yeah, he lost like 10 goons. Pessalot mixing balls is good. But yeah, EagleMet just getting rolled over here. So I guess he was forced to stay back because his consular army was late. So he lost his entire front base to this very fast Japan push as a result. And now that this is open, he's losing all his infrastructure. And he's not going to be able to, and he's not going to be able to hold this. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much over. He's losing all his mills. It's like spamming Howdah as an act of desperation. These hussars are not moving. Like, I think he's trying. Okay, he's and see how they're all clustered on one side, and it also might be the lag. Also, like hussars don't have a lot of trouble attacking in lag, but he's also like not spreading them out, just clustering them on like the right side. Like it's over for Pessalot. Like if it's laggy and treaty, you kind of have to like not touch your hussars, like just click them in one spot and then not touch them. If you try to attack move them, then they're like just gonna freeze and they're not gonna attack. And even out of lag, if you have a huge clump of hussars in one spot, they're still gonna have trouble attacking. Like only the front hussars are gonna be attacking, and then the hussars in like the middle or in the back are like not gonna know what to do. So yeah, Pessalot is actually losing a lot of those now. And he's pretty much played this entire game without artillery control and like being stuck inside a closed FB with a forest, but it's gone now because the artillery shots actually kill trees, but and so yeah, looks like that's why he's training. He did pretty decent considering that like his opponent is like a pretty decent treaty captain, major level. He is going to, it looks like he is going to train first. He's gonna use, although he did hold Mr. Janja for quite a while, and because Pessalot has no infrastructure now, these natives could just run straight to the net post, but I guess he wants to siege the tower instead. Eagle Mets wants to play it to the end, I guess. Yeah. Like, if I were getting pushed in, I would be building, like, here and back here, and also, like, up here. He already has base there, but I would be building, like, more, like, walling up there and, like, building another, building a stable. But Pessalot, he doesn't have much treaty experience, so I guess he doesn't realize how badly the lack of infrastructure is hurting him. And yeah, they're gonna call it here. So poor civ choices from Team 2, in my opinion. I'd go with something like Brit-German against this. It's kind of rude to say you played like shit after you beat your opponent, actually, but... Yeah, unfortunately this was another rather quick one, but... Usually the first round of matches in a tournament are quick ones. Because you have to get all the good teams into the finals, and the bad teams should get eliminated early. Pessalot actually lost a lot of vills. Probably hurt him a lot in natives. Hurt his score a lot. Oh, what happened here? My bad for not noticing, I guess. Was this a result of the Nagis that killed all the vills on this mill? Like, was this the response to that, I wonder? Like, those Minutemen were not here the whole time, because I scrolled here before to watch Sibus's Nagis just kill all these vills on the mills. So, maybe he sent like 10 Ashies in there again, and this was... They got pushed back so far that like they had to make units from here. So I don't know what happened with the Minutemen. I think what happened is when he lost his fort tower, like I guess his waypoint was on like one of these towers, which got destroyed, and so when the tower got destroyed, it went to the starting TC, and that's why the 2Ps are there. But I have no idea about the Minutemen or the native shipments. Oh, the native shipments went there because he had no other waypoint. He lost all 3 of his TCs. Okay, so that makes sense. So the only mystery is the Minutemen.